Hello, it's Jason. I'm just going to create a quick video on how I'm going about setting up my Atlas strategy for Path of Exile patch 3.25 Settlers of Kaldura. Now, typically when I start a league, and this is just for your context, maybe my seventh league, something like that. Um, so this is likely going to be a beginner intermediate type of video because I'm just a beginner intermediate player. So that said, if you already have your strategies laid out, you may not be learning anything new here, but I do want to talk a bit about how my Atlas strategy might be a little bit different from others because um, of just my play style and what I'm trying to accomplish. So first thing that we want to understand is the Atlas tree, and we want to take a look at it. So first, you have a lot of options for this. I prefer Poe Planner. If you do a Google search, you can find others. This is the one I use. You can log into it. You can save your builds. It's free. So everything about it I like. Now, the first thing we want to do is really take a look at the atlas. Now, when you're looking at this, there's a world of possibilities, but this number up here is important. 132. That's the number of maximum points that we're going to ever have when we fill out this atlas. So right away, we should understand that there are opportunity costs for every decision that we make. We cannot take them all, and some of the uh, some of the strategies are going to work well together because they have closer nodes and they're on a different side of the tree. This has been alleviated somewhat with the gateways that I think as maybe 2 or 3 leagues ago were introduced, where now you can spend 2 points to get over to the other side of the map. But we have kind of these quadrants here. We have the top right. You can see behind here, this is the Eater of Worlds um, quadrant over here. In the middle, we've got this is the Maven kind of quadrant here. So up here at the top, you got your bosses. On the left side, you got Searing of Exarch. On the left side, you've got Bestiary, Blight, our big ones. On the right side, you've got Breach, Legion, Delve, Harvest, and Expedition are over here. Abyss. So we said the Bestiary, Blight. You've got Ultimatum is over here. Torment. Heist is over here. Beyond. Some more bestiary notes. Okay, so I think that's all. And you have some essences are really over on this side of the tree, and then you have strong boxes and shrines that are kind of over on this side of the tree. You've got June over here, um, and betrayal. Betrayal is June. What's the other one? Breach. Okay, so kind of understanding your different areas and where you're going to be living. Now, I think that's a good place to start because a lot of times, at least for me, when I first started with Path of Exile, I looked up a lot of stuff and I didn't figure out a lot of stuff for myself. And that's really what I'm trying to do with this league. So I think in the beginning, players are going to push you towards follow a guide, follow a strategy, follow the guide. You have to follow a guide. You have to follow a guide. I think that's pretty good. I stuck with the guides for a little bit too long, and I'm really trying to make my own decisions more at this point. I think I understand all the mechanics pretty well, and I've played them all at this point, and now I think it's time for me to kind of decide what I'm going to do without having somebody else tell me. If you're at that point, good for you. Maybe this video will reconfirm some of your suspicions. But the first thing that I'm going to be kind of asking myself here is um, what is my build good at? So I'm going to be league starting Storm, Rain, Deadeye, and um, for that, I believe that it's got pretty good clear, and I originally was starting off with a lightning arrow Deadeye, and now I know lightning arrow Deadeye. There was some skill gem nerfs to it. I believe they removed the flat damage, but increased some of the scaling. I'm not sure how that will affect me, so I might end up doing lightning arrow. So, but I'm just going to try to keep it simple. It's going to be a Deadeye build, so it should be fast. It should have good clear, and I might consider switching over to elemental hit of the spectrum once I have that particular gem. And so, got some rain coming in. So I'm thinking about what my build is good at. Now, I know that this particular build is supposed to be good at Legion. So I'm going to be thinking about Legion. But in order to get all of the Legion points, I need a certain amount of map atlas points. And so whatever strategy you choose, just remember, you need to be completing your maps in order to do your strategy. So map sustain has to be a key part of your initial tree, unless you plan on trading with others, trading maps. Now that can be tedious and it can be expensive. Pretty much nobody wants to do anything less than 1C trades, and you might be spending for red maps, I don't know, 5C or something like that. Maybe you can get them cheaper, but in the beginning, 5C is a lot. So my strategy typically starts off um, with a map sustain strategy. That's usually where I start, and I start that with Kirac. So I know in the past there were some options like Wandering Path. I don't believe that that exists anymore. I think because everybody was talking about taking that, and I believe that they removed it. So no Wandering Path. Yeah. So now, so what I typically do is I just go straight up the middle. Okay. Now each one of these nodes is going to give you a 2% drop, 2% chance for one monster in each of your maps to drop an additional connected map. So this is increasing the chance to get maps. That's good straight off the bat. Then I go straight for these Kirac nodes because um, I want to get more of a chance to get Kirac missions. So because I like the Kirac missions, I typically go with this right side, even though I think there's people tend to like this expert reconnaissance. I'm going to be going up the right side, so I get all of these increased chance for Kirac maps, and then I want to get this 6% chance to get an additional Kirac map. So now we've got like a 15% chance to get a Kirac map on completion, and that's going to help us to build out our atlas. At this point, we've completed 11 maps. That's going to put us pretty much finishing out tier 2. We're going to be working on tier 2 and tier 3 maps at this point. So right now, map clear should be pretty easy. We shouldn't be having any problems with our maps. We're doing magic white maps. Should be pretty easy clear. So our next decision is, okay, do we have a good map sustain? Are we able to get the maps that we need? If the answer is yes, we can really start building into our strategy. If we're still struggling with map sustain, um, you can go for, you know, some of these other Kirac options here. If you're really wanting to go all out with the maps. Now, here is my thought process like this. Typically when I do this strategy, I'll have tons of like so many maps. I end up trying to give them away to guild members or give them away to other players, or I know people sell them, but I find that tedious. So I typically have tons of maps, and I'd end up doing like a 3-for-1 vendor recipe with maps. So if you don't know, you can do a vendor recipe with maps. 3 of the same type of map will give you a map of the next highest tier. So I would be doing that quite a bit just to get higher level maps. And I typically have over sustain on the maps. So I don't necessarily think I have to go straight for these additional map nodes, but you always could. That's one of the things that you can If you do number one, understanding your options, and you know what the tree looks like and you know where this stuff is, you're going to have an advantage over somebody who is just blindly following a guide, because then you're going to run into like, I don't, how do I get maps? I'm doing this strategy, but I'm running out of maps. I don't have the maps to do it. Now you will know like where you need to go. So let's say we're doing Legion, and then I'm going to use my planner to kind of look up Legion. Okay, so I see I've got some Legion nodes over here. What do those look like? So that's an increased chance for Legion. So just getting Legion more in the maps. So that might be something that I want to take straight off the bat. Now that's going to leave me at 19. At this point, I should be in like map tier 4, so still in white maps, assuming everything's pretty good. Um, I I can kind of move on to additional, um, maybe the next bits I want to do shaping the world, because I find maybe I'm not getting high enough tier maps. So this will increase my chance of getting higher tier maps. So that can definitely help. So maybe I do that. Now I'm inside of tier 4 maps. Let's say I got through the campaign, my build is completely scuffed, and uh, I'm having a hard time. I'm running, the bosses are killing me. It's harder and harder. I'm dying a lot. One thing that you can do here is take these shrine nodes. Shrines are going to be buffs to your player, and those can definitely help in the beginning with map clear. You would get an additional shrine in your maps and increased duration of the shrine. So you're going to get almost twice as much of the shrine, and you're going to get, 1 or 2 shrines in your map. So that can be super helpful. So keep that in mind. Like we said, now we're probably in like tier 4 maps. We're doing Legion, and we can decide for ourselves, what do we want to go for next? If I know I'm going to be heading up here, so because I want to get to this area here with the Legion, but I also know, there's Legion over here where the Legion chests contain an additional reward, and the map monsters in your map which have rewards have 10% chance to gain 2 additional rewards, and if not, have 20% chance to gain 1 additional reward. Legion monsters in your maps gain 50% more life for each additional reward that they have. So if I'm feeling super strong, I might want to head up this way so I can get these better rewards from my Legion. Okay. So let's say I do that, and I head up for this. Now I'm 40 maps in. So if I'm 40 maps in, I'm probably in like tier 5, tier 6 maps. And so I'm moving into yellow maps. This might be getting a little harder. Because I went up this way, I can think about if I'm struggling. Now I can do more shrine stuff here. So 30% increased effect of shrine buff, and that you get an additional shrine effect. That's like my favorite one. So when you get a shrine, you get a random additional shrine. So you're gonna have likely at that point like 6 buffs. And if you've ever played a headhunter, when you kill a rare, you get their mods and you start ramping up and you start flying around the map. That's what this is going to feel like. It's going to feel like a superpower version of yourself, and you're going to be clearing a lot faster. So that's always good, in my opinion. Now, if you're 100% comfortable with your build, this is the first build you played, and you're going to be overkilling everything in your map. Your clear is amazing, and your damage is super high, then you don't necessarily need to take these nodes. You can spend them getting closer to your strategy. So now we've got that, and so we can think about, okay, well, do I want to have a better chance to get certain types of the Legion people? So certain of the different legions are worth more, like their little emblems, or do we want to come over here? If we're feeling strong, we can come up this way, because these increased effects of explicit modifiers are going to start to make your maps a little harder. But if we're feeling pretty strong, we can come over here. We can get these duplicated splinters, or we can go more likely to include a general. Okay, so the general obviously is going to have better loot and um, better drops, right? So we can also say um, Legion chest release from stasis, release other monsters. So that's going to help you explode your legions out. Um, and if you're having trouble um, opening up the legion, so the way legion works is that you're gonna you have to kill the monsters first to break them out of stasis, and then when a timer's up, all of the ones that you've broken out of stasis, you have to fight. So this, if you're having trouble opening up the whole legion, then war supplies could be good. Maybe you want to do face off, okay, and then you can come over this top area, and you can get start moving towards this one. 0.6% chance for splinters to drop as emblems. So that's good because you can sell the emblems or you can do the 5 ways. So this is additional chance for Legion encounter. We can open up this side panel and see, well, what is our Legion chance right now? So right now we're doing 56% chance for Legion encounter. Um, that's pretty good right now. Um, I could be thinking about getting more over here, or I can be asking myself, are the maps feeling good? If I feel like I need some more shrine power, I can do this, and then maybe I can get this all that glitters. That's going to increase the covetous shrine is going to increase the quantity and rarity, but also make your mobs harder. So you can do that one if you want. Maybe you want to start to increase item quantity. I typically don't do this item quantity until much later. I'd probably head straight over for the next Legion node. So I can be coming over down here, get this Scarab choice, come over here, and then I'm going to turn this off. But we can look inside of this node. This is better chance. This is higher duration. Okay. This is 2 additional sergeants. This is no timer. So basically you just have to open up the whole map in order to, um, it just starts once you've opened up everything. That could be cool. Maybe get the sergeants. We're at 64% chance for Legion. What was this? Increased duration. That's good. Maybe if we want more Legion, we can take these. That's 80%. Where was the other one? Here is 88%. I thought you could get 100% chance. Which nodes are we missing? So to get 100, you have to choose one of these. Now we've got 100% chance and we're at 82. So at this point, we're likely inside of red maps. Okay. Now we have roughly 50 points, not roughly, we have exactly 50 points left. We've taken Kirac, we've taken all of Legion. At any point in here, I might want to have taken this higher map chance here. So more increase to our map levels. Now I can be thinking about, well, what else do I want to do in my maps? I can choose one more option. Now, I can spend some points to travel over here to this side of the tree. I could do something like take a bunch of scarabs and find all the scarab nodes all over. I could say I want to now start doing um, altars now that I'm in red maps. I could be thinking about different altars that I could do. If I want, I can do red altars by just going over here. and starting to do some of the searing X arc. I could stay over here and do blue altars. It's near my tree. I could decide, oh, I want to do some Maven stuff. Though I probably wouldn't do any boss strategy until my next tree. If I was trying to do that, I would probably do a different tree entirely for my bossing strategy. But at this point, you should have, at this point, unlocked your next tree. So this is when you're thinking about, we know we chose Legion because of our build. Now, what's synergizing, knowing the tree will help us what synergize what other strategy we could take. So do we want to do breach? Do we want to do harvest? Where's harvest? Do we want to do expedition? Harvest is here. Harvest, we got a lot of harvest over here. Do we want to do expedition? These are, we have a ton of options here. We could do strong boxes. Strong boxes are over here. You've got strong boxes. So for me, I think this is one of those things where it's like, what do you find fun? What's your goal? What are you trying to do? Now, personally, I was interested in checking out some Blight. Now, Blight takes a bunch of nodes, and likely we would not be able to fit all of the Blight nodes in because of choosing Legion already. Can we fit every Blight in? Uh, where we could not fit every single Blight node in, right? So take that off, take that off. Blight would, if we wanted to do Blight full on, we probably would want to squeeze it into a different tree or you do a different strategy. Blight and Legion really wouldn't be compatible because of how many nodes they take, at least because we've already invested a lot of nodes into shrines and Kirac. So we've got shrines, Kirac, and we could do a couple of other smaller ones, like we could add in essences and strong boxes to this pretty easily. So let's say we want to do, we finish out our shrines, so now we have all shrines, more monsters in our, we can do strong boxes. Okay, what other strong box nodes do we have? Duplicated divination cards, currency items, and then can we squeeze in essence? Okay, I think these are better. At least, okay. What is this? Don't care about the real rare items, and then well, I think we have essences over here, way over here. That's pretty much impossible to get. 3 additional essences. That's probably one that we would want. So maybe essences wouldn't really work out with strong boxes. But we can pop in some essences. Let's see, is this the gate? Where's the gateway? Okay, so if we do gateway, it's 135. Take off those. Take is. I think of anything else we could drop. Uh, take off something like this. And now we've got Essence, Strongbox, Legions. But this would assume we have our entire atlas filled out, which is going to be pretty tough, especially in the beginning start of the league. So I don't think this is necessarily viable, but I think this type of going through this process that I just showed you is going to help you to understand more about like the opportunity cost. What can I fit in? What can't fit into this strategy? If I know I'm going to be doing this, what can I do to optimize my strategy? And then asking yourself those questions and coming up with the answers is really going to further your knowledge in Path of Exile, and you're going to be less reliant on what the next strategy is. Or let's say that with the next league, Blight turns out to be super strong. You hear that and you could say, okay, well, I could pair Blight with Bestiary, or I could pair Blight um, with Beyond, because I know those are on the same side of the tree. And then so you can be thinking about that and make some of those decisions from there. And just remember, you have multiple trees. So by the time you get 50 of your maps cleared, you're going to get another Atlas tree that you can spec to something different. And then once you clear 100 maps, you're going to get your third tree unlocked, and you can spec out something there. So you're going to have multiple trees. So don't feel like, so for me, the most important thing about the first tree is that it has map sustain and it gets you through so you can clear your entire atlas. I think this covered it pretty well because of the Kirac nodes that we're taking, and we can always spec harder into Kirac if we're not sustaining. So hope you took something away from this video, and hopefully you will push yourself a little harder to understand more about what makes sense for you. One last thing about strategies I want to talk about in Path of Exile. A lot of times people want to know the best strat, or the strat with the most divines per hour. And a lot of times you see streamers and they have, multiple mirror build, and they are doing a highly optimized strategy, and they might be playing um, with groups, and they um, have ultimately a lot more time to invest. And so some of those strategies that they might be doing where they show 8 hours, they might be saying this many divines per hour. That's going to be over 8, 10, 12 hours of running the maps. And so they're going to average that out. There's a lot of variance in this. So just know that if you commit yourself to one strategy and you do that and you get good at that strategy and you start to learn what to look for, what's valuable and what's not, you can make um, easily a couple divines an hour doing any strat. It's just a matter of understanding the strat and putting in some of the time and knowing that there's going to be variance, and also working out how to squeeze a little extra money out of it, because there are going to be people that say, don't do that, it's a waste of time, don't do this, it's a waste of time. Well, sometimes the amount of time that you would need to invest trading for all of the stuff that you need, um, especially when you're not very clear about it and you don't know what the prices should be, or you don't have a lot of currency to start off with, is and setting everything up is going to take a lot of time. And sometimes you just need something that you can open a map, do the thing, it's straightforward, and you get some loot, and you pile up a bunch of that loot, and then you go and you try to sell it. So strategies like that, there's plenty of strategies like that on the board. You just pick one, and if you like it and you're having fun, that's all that matters. So hope you guys enjoyed this video and took something from it.